Welcome to the Dana and Dr. Pearl Show, where we tackle issues that affect homebound seniors. I am Dana Arnone. I'm a registered nurse with a focus on senior home care for over 30 years. Dr. Pearl is taking some time off today, so I again will be your host. In today's show, we're focusing on cleansing your parents' home and spirit. We have two special guests today, Robert Esposito. He is the owner of Relocators, and Yvonne Cook, who is a very good friend of mine and registered nurse and energy healer. She is the owner of Wings of Light and Love. Plus, in our Ask Dana segment, we will answer your most commonly asked questions. Thank you, Rob, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So the name of your company is called Relocators.
Yes.
So Relocators started when?
Relocators started in 2008, but the origin of it came from my mother's estate sale company. Our origin could be traced back to the Great Depression. My great-grandmother had apartments all over Corona, Queens, and my family, although we didn't inherit anything from the apartments, we inherited a ton of furniture.
Stuff.
Yes, stuff. And,
every great business starts with something.
Exactly. And like the Great Depression era, my Nana, she just took everything. So every time someone would leave, she would fill her basement. So in 2000, when she got diagnosed with breast cancer and it was time to move Grandma out to Suffolk County, my mother got tasked with like emptying her house and using 12 dumpsters, I think it took, to finally empty it.
So it was literally stuff.
Yeah, so much stuff.
So that was your first experience with a hoarder type of
going
situation.
in every weekend and seeing it.
Did Grandma have a problem with you guys moving this stuff out? Because I know a lot of times that becomes an issue.
It was one of those things where everyone flew in and it was, you have to, you cannot be alone in this house anymore, you know.
So she moved in where, with your family?
With us, out in Suffolk, yes.
So from that, your mom said, wow, this is an issue for people, or this is something that can be made into a business. And so she started selling items from people's homes, because that's part of what you guys do now?
Seeing all the stuff that was saved for 50 years just going to dumpsters killed her, and she put an ad in the local paper, old stuff out, brings the money in, let us show you where to begin, and that's how her estate sale company formed. She would host a tag an estate sale for people going through the same situation. And in America, I think as a whole, and a big cataclysm here was the fact that our generation don't want this stuff. And they held it all for us for generations.
Did you take anything?
Never. I don't want nothing.
So you're proof that that's true.
I got to be on my managers all the time. Get this stuff out of the warehouse.
Get it, really? Don't hold on to anything.
They collect.
Yeah, but I think that it's memories, though. So they're holding on to the memory.
Yes.
So with Relocators, what is the primary part of what you guys do?
All services are full and independent of each other, but the idea behind it is when I was in college around 2007, I would always support my mother by like cleaning out the house or moving a senior into a local assisted living. And I just saw that it was such a fragmented service. Like in order to get someone out of a house, you needed the estate sale person, the mover, the junk removal company, then the realtor. And I wanted to try to make it an end-to-end solution. So. Yeah,
well, that makes sense. I mean, being a home care nurse myself, I've run into many situations where the families don't live here. They can't afford to fly back and forth. Exactly. So having someone that they can trust to do all of the things is something I know is very important to them. We have quite a few families that live out of state, and we kind of become the child here.
Like the liaison.
Yes, for them, and we're reporting things to them. So let's take it from the beginning to the end. So someone would call you up and say, what, I have, because I'm assuming there's two different things that you do. The clean house of a hoarder is one thing.
Absolutely.
And the majority of probably what you do is, I have a house, my mom can't stay here anymore, what do we do?
Exactly.
So what do they do?
And that's the beauty of it. They can either come here and meet us, which they usually do, you know, the first time, and then once they realize, hey, we could give this company the key and be done with it, they're gone. And the best case scenario is what happens is we come in, we have a meeting with them. Anything that the siblings want, we'll move out. We'll store it at one of our facilities. We could ship it out to them at a later date, and then we'll move mom into an assisted living or whatever her downsized home is, and we'll host like a big weekend estate sale at her house where we liquidate everything that the family didn't want, and we try to bring in as much money as possible for them and offset the cost of any cleaning out or further repairs that the house needs before it gets handed off to the real estate.
Because I know I had a patient at one time that It was a hoarder situation. It was a husband and wife. They were in a nursing home, the nursing home rehab center. They wouldn't let them be discharged because they kind of knew what was going on in the home.
Yeah.
And so when we went in there, it was a disaster. We had to clean everything out. The husband wasn't the hoarder, the wife was. So he was all for it. He came in with us. He showed us where everything should go. Throw it out, throw it out, throw it out. He was all about throwing it out.
There goes his life.
Yeah. They came home. He came home first. He was absolutely thrilled with the way it looked. He hadn't seen the house look clean in like 20 years. So he comes in the house. We get him settled with the aide. We bring her home. As soon as she walked in, she saw the house was clean and cleaned out. She walked in the bedroom, and she did not come out till she died 2 years later, because she was so affected by the fact that all of her stuff was gone. Yeah. So I know that, especially with hoarders, that's a big component, is the mental health of the person. So how do you guys deal with mental health issues, or helping people let go of their stuff?
I mean, ideally, the best case scenario is they're moved out with the stuff they want, and whether it's bringing in an organizer or a family member that can do that with them. But when it's actually trying to make that leap with them involved, it is extremely tedious, and you need to have a lot of patience, and understanding that it's more than just they like stuff. It usually comes from a loss where now they want to hold everything, and you have to be completely empathetic to that.
Yeah, we had another situation where the patient, she was home. She did not want anybody to touch her stuff, so she had to walk, but they wouldn't let, she couldn't live there anymore. Yeah. So we went in, and it took weeks, because it was like, throw that piece of paper out, keep that piece of paper. Take that teddy bear that's been ripped, it was ripped to shreds, but she wanted to keep the teddy bear. And so the people that we had at that time helping us, it took them, I don't know how they did it. I really don't know. So they just literally took garbage and put garbage in boxes and put it to the side so that she can have it. But it was clean and she can return. You know, we used to do a lot of like the, people don't realize, like the carpets, just ripping out carpets from the house.
Because they got beautiful wood floors.
Nice wood floors. Now they can go and live there. Or it's as simple, just like we've actually had patients that lived with no running water. And instead of fixing the water, they would go into the bathtub and clean their dishes and stuff in the bathtub. Yeah. So hoarders, it's a hard thing. So do you work with like real estate agents to sell their houses? When you say, because I thought of this before, when you say that you help move them to an assisted living, do you physically put them in a car with you and move them? Like, how does that work?
We don't physically put them in a car, but we're there for whether it's an ambulance picking them up or one of their children driving them over, and we're going through the stuff. We're packing it, holding their hands as we pack their stuff, then moving it over, then helping unpack it. As far as the objects go, we're fully hands-on. So
when you're doing estate sales, because we were actually involved, I probably did your job. We had a house that the family hired us to help sell the contents of the house, and but we didn't. There was a lot of times it's garbage, and no one's buying garbage, even for 2 cents. They don't want it. So what do you do with that stuff, like if it's left behind?
My mother's been doing it 20 years, so we have the resources to, hey, you don't have enough to warrant 500 people coming here on a Saturday for an estate sale, but we have a buyer that can give you some money and lessen the cost of your clean out a little. But that's the last resort service.
So you do like the sweep, clean so that the house can be sold?
Exactly.
And do you guys represent them at the closing? Like,
we don't represent it, but they have a guarantee that as far as the walkthrough goes, we're responsible for any contents. If you flipped over the home and it would fall out, it's our responsibility.
Okay. How do you estimate the cost of the clean out and stuff? Because I know, like, before COVID, we would go in, but after COVID, they're videotaping, and we're trying to price and see what's going on by a videotape.
Yes, we're doing a lot of that, pictures and videos now. Moving's based pretty much on men per hour and materials, and cleanouts are based on the amount of stuff that needs to be removed.
And then the storage is a monthly fee if they choose to keep it there.
Stuff,
and they can keep it there forever. For 1 month and stuff. Very good. Yep. So, Rob, how do people access your information and get in contact with you?
Our website is usrelocators.com, and our main office line is 516-595-7420.
And they can just call up and ask for information over the phone?
Absolutely.
Or access, I guess, is there a place on the website that they can...
they can put in questions. They can email us at any time. Our office is open 8 to 5 every day. Every day?
Oh, very good. Well, I think it's a wealth of information, because I think people don't know, they're overwhelmed as it is with the care needs of their loved one. So to have somebody that they can do from start to finish, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are very grateful for that help.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's moving and death and divorce, they're all like the top 3 stressors in life. So trying to manage it together, because most of these people are going through more than one of the top stressors in life at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like I said, a lot of times they're dealing just with the transition of their mother not being, or father not being in their lifelong home is a hard thing for them to deal with. So to have this, and they know they don't have to worry about it, not stress about it, it's just something that I'm sure that they're very grateful for.
Exactly.
Very good. How is it that people are doing their sales, their estate sales now during COVID?
Can't have 500 people in a house anymore.
Do you really have 500 people though at an estate, like at a normal house? There's 500 people, right?
It's no, it goes out to 20, 30,000. So
what?
Yeah, 500
That's
is a
crazy.
very accurate number. They'll line up the night before.
What?
It's crazy.
I guess everybody's searching for that treasure.
Yeah, exactly.
They all think they're going to get that Picasso.
It's honestly a whole subset of people
I know
that
that
you don't even know about.
I know, actually, I do know that. Not me, but I had a friend whose mother, every Saturday when we were growing up, made us, if I slept over, I knew Saturday morning, garage sale.
Exactly.
So she used to make us get up 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I ain't sleeping here no more, because I don't want to go to these garage sales. Like, they really are crazy, but that makes sense. Well, that makes good business.
We pretty much switched it to online auctions. The industry was going that way, and now it's different where we'll send in photographers for 3 days.
So you're like pen, 50 cents, glasses, that's it.
And it all starts at $1, and for 2 weeks we get calls online. The sale's not doing anything, the sale's not doing anything. In the last 3 hours, it shoots all the way up.
Oh, they're waiting to see if it goes down?
5 figures.
Really?
Yeah, because everything starts at $1, and we'll take pictures of 200-300 items, and by the last 3 hours of the sale, 2 weeks later, everything just shoots all the way up, and the customer's very happy. And now they only have a 4-hour window where our guys are handing this stuff to the curb, so that people do not have to do anything in their house, any strangers in their house. It's strictly our staff.
Is that going to be the way? That's the future. That's
Yeah.
so no more in person.
I don't think no more. I think hybrid, like everything else in the world
that's true.
nowadays.
That's a good
But
point.
I think it'll be like the one big one every weekend, and that no more 3 or 4 a weekend.
So it's like you have one, and then anything that didn't sell will go online.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the smaller estate sales will now be auctions.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, that's that's good to know. And of course, people are all concerned about safety.
Absolutely.
And I know that even if you don't live there, you don't want that many people walking through the house. So thank you, Rob. I find it's very interesting. I have a lot of knowledge in what you guys do, and I think there's a lot of people that really didn't know the extent of how you can help them. So I think it's going to be very good information to share with people.
Thank you so much.
Coming up after the break, we will get tips on how to cleanse our spirit with Yvonne Cook. She's a registered nurse and energy healer and owner of the Wings of Light and Love. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dana Dr. Pearl Show. With me today is a very good friend of mine, Yvonne Cook. She's a registered nurse. She is a Reiki master practitioner and teacher of at your company called Wings of Light and Love. So I welcome you, Yvonne.
Thank you.
We go way back, and
Many
I've
years.
seen
And I've practiced on you.
many times, without permission, I might say sometimes. This is true. I was always getting afraid to say, oh, I have a headache in front of you, because then you'd always try to heal me.
Yeah.
So if you knew what happened to me yesterday, you'd try to heal me today. I fell.
Okay.
No,
Oh.
I did. Downstairs. But anyway, aside from that, we want to talk about the different types of healing modalities that you offer at your practice. Currently, you're practicing a little bit different because of COVID.
Right.
But if it wasn't COVID time, if it was just a normal day and someone called you up needing some healing.
If they wanted to have a private session, then we would just book a private session. So I do half-hour and hour sessions. Also, prior to COVID, I was opening my home twice a month. Thursday nights usually, so open to the community. So whoever wanted to come, I did for a small donation, 10 to 15 minute Reiki session. They would just sit in my living room. I have angel cards that can be read. I have, other, tea that I make, and just make it very comfortable. I have crystals all throughout my house. Crystal energy is very high. Everything is saged and cleansed before anybody comes. And I do this on the side. I'm a registered nurse, I work in the hospital, and so my work doesn't stop from doing private sessions. I work continuously from the minute I wake up in the morning until whatever. I also send long distance Reiki. So anything that comes up that is a catastrophe or volcanoes or tsunamis or anything like that, I'm sending out to different parts of the world all the time. My children call me, one's in Thailand, one's in California. If they're not feeling well, they'll call me and say, can you send some Reiki? So I do a lot of long distance. So with COVID now, I do a lot of my sessions with people that want some help long distance. So I just did a session with a friend who lives in Ohio, and I set the time that I'm going to start working. I text her when I'm going to begin and text her when I'm finished to do the half-hour session. I just literally envision her entire body on my Reiki table. That room is surrounded by crystals and with the angelic realm that I bring in to work with me. So it's not me doing it alone. I work with others, many others.
Well, let's talk about the different types of healing that you offer. You do Reiki. You do like this,
I've learned, yeah, the incense, I mean, I use that as a cleanser and as healing. I use the different oils. This one is lavender. I always have this. You could use this as a scent in those diffusers, and you can have that going in your home. So it's very calming. But I have all different types of oils that I could use.
What about this
That's
thing?
a grounding stone. That's hematite. This is selenite, which is a cleanser. I have under my Reiki table a 57-pound chunk under the table to help bring in of selenite. Yeah, you can also use that to cleanse different things. So you want to take your jewelry off at night and put it on the selenite. It'll help draw out all of the low vibrations and energies that might have come from your day.
There's a lot of vibrations in my day.
Yeah. Tuning forks are also a different modality that I've learned. This one works with the clear crystal. I can put different crystals in here. I can use tiger's eye or whatever I choose. But the clear crystal is like a handyman crystal, and it works on every aspect of if it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental.
Well, where do you
so
put
I like
that?
to use that. So I will put that on different acupuncture points. This can also be used for nausea, for pain, for emotional. You know, I use it to help open up the chakra system. So I start with, once I have done what I do with my session, I will then use the crown chakra, the third eye, the heart, and work all my way down. When I close a session up, I use the one that has the Om vibration, and that's the Om in the universe to then help close and sending the calming vibration of the universe.
But which do you find works the best, or it all works the same?
I work all together. I use them all.
So do you think that in the hospitals, because I know that you work in one of the local hospitals, you seeing Reiki utilized more in healing in the hospitals now?
I think there are more hospitals are accepting it, not where I work. But there are like Sloan Kettering, and I think New York Presbyterian. You can request to have Reiki done, so it's like, it may even be a doctor's order, I'm not sure. But it should be, because I send it out to the emergency room. I send it out when I get I hear the calls go over the intercom for code blue or trauma coming in. I send it immediately. I send it right out, and not just to the patient, the person that's affected, but I ask them to work with the doctors and the medical staff, and then send it out to the families and the friends that are part of the patient's group, because they're also affected, and it's also traumatic for them to have somebody go through that. So
I like being someone who has a lot of stress in their lives and stuff. A lot of the families that deal with dementia patients or Alzheimer's patients, they're dealing with a huge amount of stress, or even the patient themselves. How can Reiki help some of those families?
It's calming. You know, it's like you just went to the spa. It just is, and it's grounding. So not only would I say, Reiki itself, but then make the environment of the person with dementia more conducive to them. I have Pandora on my phone, and I have Reiki radio. Okay, that type of music. Yes, or I guess if you don't have that, then you can use spa music. That type of music is very calming and very soothing for someone with dementia or Alzheimer's. Using the diffuser with a calming oil, this is one of them, is the lavender, is also helpful. My mom had Alzheimer's. She recently passed away, and she had it for over 10 years. But I use that in the house with her all the time.
I know.
I use the incense because it's a cleansing and it's also healing. I use the diffuser with the different oils, and I had the music going for her, and it helps kept her more on a level level state.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen your mom,
Yeah.
and I've seen the house.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you as a Reiki master. I know you as if I had a headache, and you would come up behind me, and you would slap your hands, and you warm your hands, and then you'd be.
I didn't slap my hands.
Well, whatever you did.
I just activated it.
And I could feel the heat coming from your hands.
Yes.
And I remember that. And it actually did, you know, feel good, and it was soothing. But I see you added some more titles to your card here. So I just have a question. What is the Theta 1 healing?
Theta is just another healing modality. That's what I used in the beginning when I also learned Reiki. There's also Rising Star on there. There's IET, which is the integrated energy healing. I've always been drawn and brought back to Reiki to be the main thing that I work with. But now, intuitively, because I've become more intuitive, I now use some bits and pieces of these when I'm working with my Reiki, if I'm inclined to, if I'm guided to do that. So I will not just do Reiki, I will also add, a lot of times the IET is the main one that I work with. So whatever, and then there's stuff that I do that I wasn't taught by anybody. So it's being channeled in to do some of other things, and it's just what's working well.
So I know that you used to do the sessions in your home, and now you still do them? Okay.
I do. But now, instead of in the community, I could have anywhere up to 1 to 6, 7 people in my home for that open house evening. Now I would do it more by appointment or open it up for more different evenings because of the COVID, just not being comfortable having a lot of people in the house and not knowing for sure if they've gotten their shots or who they've been with. So private sessions or the open sessions, that are for the donation, I would have more by appointment until this COVID thing kind of levels out. And is that more?
So if someone wanted to make an appointment with you, how would they go about doing that?
They would just call me, my cell phone.
Okay, give out
and
your
that's 516-884-7842.
And that could be in your home if they want some healing long distance.
Long distance, yeah, either way.
All right, very good. So to learn more about Yvonne, you can access her website at wingsoflightandlove.com. Welcome back to the Dana and Dr. Pearl Show. So now it's time for Ask Dana. One of the questions that I get a lot and is a common question is, what is the difference between a union agency and a non-union agency? So I could tell you that Reliance is a union agency. One of the things most differently is the benefit package that the union provides its workers. The union does supply health benefits. It supplies them PTO, which is very nice. They can take their vacation and still get paid. They give them tuition reimbursement. There are so many benefits to the union that non-union agencies traditionally don't offer. So a lot of times we will have an aide come to us and say that an agency down the block is paying them $1 more with none of the benefits. So I guess it would just come to the worker to say, what's more important to you, that dollar in your pocket or the entire package and the support that the union agencies provide them. Another question that I get all the time is, if an agency is union, does the employee have to be in the union? And that answer is yes. There had to be a 51% vote yes. And that was not a vote yes from me, that was a vote yes from the employees. So the union took a poll of all of my employees and was questioning them. They had meetings, they had sit-downs to discuss the unions, and the employees voted yes to be in a union agency. So anybody coming to an agency that is 1199 or any other union out there, if they're going to that agency and that agency is union, you are now in the union. That's the way it goes. Another question that we get a lot of times is, how many hours do you need to work in order to qualify for the benefits? So everything is on a prorated basis based on hours worked, but the most important number is 25 hours a week or 100 hours a month. And that's what qualifies you for the health benefits and the other benefit package. So if you work 20 hours, unfortunately, that's not gonna get you the health coverage, but it would get you prorated other benefits through the union. So our goal is always to get that worker to work at least 100 hours a month or 25 hours a week so they become eligible for all of the benefits. Another question that we have a lot is, does the union pay for PCA? Unfortunately, the union does not pay for the PCA class at this time. If they want to go to PCA school and upgrade to HHA, CNA, that is something that the union can assist with. But just to start in home care, to pay for the PCA course is not, because you have to be an employee of a union agency. And without that certificate, you cannot qualify as an employee. So that was our final question, and that's the end of our show today. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's stay connected and help us help you take care of your loved ones. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you next time on the Dana and Dr. Pearl Show.
All Things Home Care elevates and supports home health caregivers by providing transportation and promoting education to better care for homebound seniors and the disabled. To find out more or to make a donation, visit us at allthingshomecare.org.